There we go. Had some technical difficulties there. It's been a while since I streamed, so it took me a second to get everything set up here and working. But now we're working. I can see it's working now. CP Trader, how's it going? Man, some pretty good volatility so far. See what happens today. All right. How's it going, CP? What's happening? How's Utah County? We finally cleared out of smoke down here after a month of haziness. It's kind of crazy. Had a thunderstorm last night, actually. Kind of moved through and was kind of nice. Cleaned everything out and blew all that haze out. It's been a wild month in southern Utah here. I'm going to be trading some gold today. Been watching gold a little bit more lately. I used to trade gold a lot, and then I kind of stopped when I was doing futures at the beginning of the year. Kind of focused on just MES and MQ for a while. But some days when you're waiting for a setup, I'd like to have something else to trade, so I'll just go back to this. This is what I did for a long time, is just had these three. Sometimes I do oil too, but yeah, we're going to do this today. So like I said, I got a target up here. Of course, the mic was off, but I've got a target up here. I changed my simple metric market metrics layout. I do like the candlesticks. I've looked at this chart so much over the last year, so I really like this layout with how I have it set for the most part. I did turn off the background. I don't like the background flipping, especially when you get conflicting backgrounds. So you'll get a green background like halfway through this red, and then you'll go south, and then it'll change on you. And I don't like the background. I took that off. So I did enable the support and resistance, and I made them pretty big too, pretty visible. I like to be able to see where your targets are. I want to see where your support is. I want to see your resistance is. And a lot of times it's like this. It's where an order block is. It's very close, but sometimes it's not where an order block is. So that's why I put that on there. So yeah, I work full time, and I try to trade as much as I can, but my life is a little busier than it was a couple months ago, so that's how it goes. See what happens with gold today. If we can break this level, we break this resistance up here. We did a little bit this morning. I thought I was going to keep going, but it retraced a little bit. So we can get back over that 21 EMA and start getting some positive RSI and some momentum. I'm looking for some higher moves today. Yesterday's high was this resistance up here. We had a nice little spike up here in yesterday's session, so that's kind of why I put this right around here. I think we blew through that yesterday. We've hit that level a couple times over the last couple weeks, so if we spiked good today, that's very likely. Very, very likely. So MES, same kind of story. This is our recent high. See what happens here with that and MQ. MQ's in a pretty tight range, support and resistance wise. We may drop down to this level before it spikes back up. Who knows? We could just spike from here too. NQ's super hard to trade. I really have a hard time with NQ. That's why I don't do big size, because I can manage it. If anything, I think I'm liking my gold trade the best here today. I'm thinking that, like I say, if I can break this level, I may actually add more to that, because I'm pretty confident in this trade. Pretty confident in we've got the 1 hour bias here. 5 minute time, we're just flipping back over to bullish. We'll see where the market's going to take things today. Yeah, I'm not sure. Man, look at these candles on NQ. Jeez. We got some distance here. 60, 70 point candles on some of those. 5-minute chart. It's pretty crazy. We're sitting on a support, so we'll see what happens. If it breaks down, I would, a good place to put a pending would be down here. I've been doing a little bit more of that lately, playing with pending orders. I don't usually do a lot with pending orders, but I do kind of like how I feel confident when I see an order block and a support block put together like that. Good place to put a support. And then I'll just have a pretty tight stop and try to get at least 1-to-1, maybe 2-to-1 on a trade like that. Yeah, I'm liking this gold trade. It's looking like we're gonna spike, I think. Earlier this morning, when I placed my buy, it was like right here, up here somewhere. And it looked like it was just going to keep going. We went bullish all night. Gotta move my mic here. It's sitting kind of weird. There we go. Yeah, I saw the news was coming. Let's see what's going to happen here. Consumer inflation and expectations. I don't think that'll move it too much. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see here. There we go. Man, look at that. Almost hit my take profit. A giant spike. Jeez. It's like 1 or 2 ticks away. That's crazy. NQ, same thing. Had a really good spike there. Morning, Buck. Yes, it is. You ain't kidding. It's a different market than it was a couple months ago. A lot of traders are struggling. Even good traders, big name traders are really having a hard time. I think a lot of those guys, the secret to them winning or secret to them staying profitable is how they manage the accounts they buy. So when you can buy 20 accounts and only trade 5 at a time, and if you blow them, then they'll hedge the next 5 to make up for what they just blew. Or it's kind of a delicate balancing act of mixing winning trading accounts to what you blown to take profit here. That sucked. That just sucks. Okay, we're sitting on pretty good support for NQ. It's very tight there this morning. We got a pretty good tight range here, so let's see. I won't let it go much further than this without canceling that trade. But I like the high, this spike up here that we had earlier this morning. So we'll see if we hold that level or if we can get back to that level today before I end the stream. Man, my MES trade, oh, that makes me mad. New spike, and then it was back to break even. But it didn't quite, it was, look how close it was. And I was quite a ways away from the resistance, or the resistance up there. Gold's still struggling to break that level. Got a really strong resistance right here. If we can break that, I think we can get some higher highs here. This is the high yesterday, so we got a lot of room till we get to the high yesterday. I think I'm liking that trade the best of everything today. I may focus more on that just to get my daily goal. NQ, I got a super low lot size on. Just one. That's one mini or micro. I don't really like to trade MQ period, but when I do, it's very low size because within 15 minutes, look how far off we are. Okay, now we're at the lower support. This is where I was saying how to put that pending order earlier. This actually would be a better place to buy than where I had it. My buy was up here above the 200 and the 21, but EMAs don't really matter to NQ. It does what it wants. There we go, gold. I'm liking this gold trade the best of everything. I think I'm going to move this up a little bit. I'm thinking we're going to get some more power here. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Okay, we're going to watch this candle close. We're going to be above the 200 and the 21, which anybody's watched my channel, those are my levels I like. Good level to watch is right here on NQ. See if we hold this level or if we're going to spike off of it. Our chart's still bullish on NQ. We've been bullish for quite a while. All-time highs. Where are we on all-time highs? I think we're at all-time highs. Oh, we're still lower. All-time highs is kind of where I set my target. So if we get back to all-time highs, both those trades will cancel out. But that would be a great place to buy. That's a really good place to buy. I don't want to add any more to NQ. I do not like adding First, I don't like DCAing period, but NQ is that's an account killer when you start DCA that. Okay, I'm liking this setup here. So what I bet will happen when we cross over this 21 and we get a little bit higher, that when this resistance disappears, then it's going to be go time. I'll add some more. We got about 2 minutes left in that candle. Our RSI is flipped over from negative to positive. We're just waiting for the 12. I like to enter my 12s, either negative 12 or positive 12. That is usually when you have these little crossovers that go back and forth, but they're just minor. I don't want to do a zero crossover because that doesn't, a lot of times it'll float around the zero, but when you hit 12 one way or the other, that's usually your indication to go. Okay, we're at break even. Oh man, NQ spiked off that bottom. Yeah, like I said, that'd have been a great place to buy a second ago, because now it's spiked off of there. Could go clear back to the top too. If you notice with my chart, it is a little different than I used to have it. I did take the background colors off the SMM. I do like the candles. I do like the candle layout. I like how the color coding and I like the little white dots. I feel like I can read price action pretty good with those. But I do not do signals with SMM at all. The signals are garbage. I can't believe how much faith I had in those signals and how they're just garbage. There's no, it doesn't matter what time frame, how you set them. I would never use those signals again. I got burned on those way too many times. Okay, that new candle just populated. Just looking off price action on NQ, we bounced off this lower level pretty hard. See what the next candle or two does, but if it closes above this next lower support, we could be heading back north. Which MES will probably follow suit. Yeah, it looks like that spiked pretty hard off that. It didn't quite get to the support here, but it dipped through the 200, and a lot of times we see spikes into the 200 and rejections like that. Just looking at price action, we got some good rejection right there. So see what happens here. Gold is slowly grinding. I think we're going to go higher on gold, guys. I think gold's going to be our ticket today. I'm liking that one enough. I'm going to probably add more, but I want to see it get where I need to. Might wait till we get till entry and add one more to that, and then just hold our take profit somewhere up there. Gold has been so strong for a year now. The last 12 months of gold has been absolutely phenomenal. And Q's trying that low again. See if it's just going to reject or what it's going to do here. I do like being at my computer at my house. Not having to work today is kind of nice. Wish I could stream more. I'd like to stream every day if I could. Just have a hard time with my schedule right now. looking at adding more to our gold here. I just want to see it. Got about 2 minutes left in this candle. I think I'm going to watch this because I think gold's going to be our good trade today. So my levels are 200. The red EMA is 200. The white EMA is 21. I've used this setup. I added simple market metrics. I've used these EMAs for a long time, and I've used RSI history strategy for a long time. But the SMM is my candle colors, and I don't mind it for that. But like I said, I would never use the signals, and I'm not gonna push SMM very hard anymore. I like it for the candles, and I've looked at this chart for so long. I'm just gonna keep it. Just a simple basic chart, nothing too fancy, nothing crazy, but I don't want to use any signals to confuse things. Signals are garbage. Okay, NQ's tapping that lower. We break through there, I'll probably just kill that trade and I'll add more to my gold. Because I'm liking the gold trade the best right now, but this could reject pretty good too though. I mean we're on MES and NQ, we're both to a lower support. They've been pretty bullish too, so. God, this spike makes me mad. That should have hit my take profit. Look how far away I am from resistance. That sucks. You're like $100 in profit to 75 in loss. Q's probably below that. It is, it's below that now. May kill those. See what happens in the next candle or two, but I may kill those. Start out with a loss. See what gold. And gold's going the other way too. Jeez. All right, we're going to stop and reposition here because this is just... It's getting out of control. So trading is, guys. You got to be able to take your loss and move on. We broke that lower level on both of them, so that was a good move to get rid of that. Could be searching for lower lows now. Okay, so I think what we're going to do... Yeah, it sucks. I held it through all that profit and then I lost it. That's how trading goes. Same thing on NQ. Okay, what we're going to do, I'm going to set my alert here. I haven't set an alert. I just changed the contract on gold this morning, so I need to reset the alerts. So, crossing up. Value is 12, like I said. Once per bar. We're going to go add alert, crossing down, negative 12 once per bar. Here we go. So now, when this histo gets to one of those, it'll give me an alert. And I'll just double check everything, see where my levels are. So like right here, would have been above the 200 and the 21, and I got an alert. It was this morning sometime. This is like 3 in the morning my time, so I wasn't awake when this happened, but that alert would have been beautiful. And then I just look for these. I look for order blocks, and I look for my support and resistance blocks. Those will help me get where we need to go. Get a good idea of where things are potentially going to be able to go. And I think I have these ones still. Yes, I do. Turn these on. Then we play the weight game. See what we can dig up. Now, with NQ, a strategy that's been working really well for a lot of people is buying the dips. The problem is NQ can move so much, a dip can be massive. So there's certain things I would look at if you're going to try and do that. Oh, hey, Gary. Yeah. Oh, okay. So Buck and... Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, thanks, man. Have a good weekend. Thanks for hanging out for just a minute. I held those a little bit longer than I probably should have, but like I said, I got out at a good time. Look how much it spiked down since I got out. So I could see it was going against me, and there's no sense in holding it longer. Just was getting out of control. So we're going to wait, reposition. Some of those trades I placed quite a bit earlier too. So I usually like to wait till, when I'm at work, I don't trade till after 8. It works really good with my break schedule too. So today I got a little bit more aggressive than I usually do. So there's one. Now why am I not showing? So why isn't it showing fills and orders on this side? There we go. Same thing here. I like to see all the fills and orders. Had one winning trade this morning. That one on that spike this morning. ES I thought was going to follow suit. It didn't quite go so strong. Okay, crossing down on the gold. Okay. So another thing with my setup and how I do my trading, I don't trade between the two EMAs. So if price is below the 21 but above the 200, that's kind of a... I've heard people say it's a donation zone or it's no man's land, whatever you want to call it. I don't like it. I would rather... The only exception to that is if we were close. So if price gets down to here and we get a green candle and we get a green histo off the 200, I would buy, because my bias is based off the 200. So what I'm saying is I wouldn't take a sell from the 21 to the 200. I don't like to sell into this area. I'd like to clear one. So using my 200 as my main trend bias, which I would only look for buys at this level. Or anything above 200. So if we get a buy signal here, I would buy that. But a sell signal like we just got from the 21, but it's still over the 200, I wouldn't take that. So that's why I'm skipping that. Need to grab my phone. I'll be right back. Okay. So we're down a little bit to start out. No big deal. Let's look at 1 hour on NQ. NQ could just sink super hard today. So personally, like I said, NQ is such a wild monster. I probably won't look to buy and clear tail down here. I mean, look at this next support. It's clear down in 2307 or 70s. We're at 2225, so it's got a long ways to go till I would really be. I mean, this is a very strong support, and it could just, the thing is with NQ, it could flip around in the middle of nowhere for whatever reason. Trump tweet, whatever. So support and resistance levels don't tell you everything you need to know. There's a lot of other things that can pull price one way or the other that we may never know about. Just the people who control price do what they want when they want. Okay, we got up to four viewers today. That's good. Yeah. Thinking as the day progresses, we'll get a few more. Seems like I have some regulars, and then I'd get some new people every now and again. So if I could stream more often, I'd get more for sure. Could market it a little bit better. I wonder if Nutty's streaming today. I like watching his stream. Pretty entertaining. Doesn't look like he is. Yeah, I don't see him streaming today. Okay. All right. Who else? Anybody else on the stream? Got any good trades going? What's going on in your world? Okay, 63.30 for MES. Yesterday I bought at 63.06. Had a great spike up. I think I had 2 winning trades yesterday. Yeah, this is sinking hard, man. I'm really glad we got out when we did. Looking at those levels are important. When you see something invalidated, don't hold on to it. Get out. Wait for a better setup. I was a little bit too early to the game today, just in my excitement to be here. I'm as real and as flawed as anybody else out there. I've got a pretty good setup. I've had some pretty good days too. Had some really excellent days. Excellent success. This year's probably been my it's my greatest presence on YouTube for sure. I was going to say my most successful on YouTube. I've had 60-something videos, 3,000 subscribers. And I think in January I had 500. So, and I was just making videos consistently, just showing what I do, and good, bad, ugly, you know. I've met tons and tons of traders that just like me, just same regular folk trying to make it happen. Okay, like I was talking earlier with this gold here, I'm really liking, if we break this 21, I'm really thinking that we're gonna go, we could raise high here. I'm just, all my analysis is saying that's very, very, very likely. We've got a lot more room to go from the total high. The ultimate high is clear up here. Weekly highs here, which is quite a bit higher than we are now. Yesterday's highs here. Here's today's highs. Yeah, I'm going to be watching that pretty close today. CP Trader, are you here? What's going on with you? How are your accounts coming? I think last I talked to you, you passed a couple, lost a couple. I'm just trying to stick with one at a time. Once I get a payout, then I'll look at branching out more, but I really don't feel like I should spend more money until I get a solid system down and get a payout, you know what I mean? Watching Nutty stream, looking at his setup. I'd love to have a setup like that. I've got a decent office that I could do it out of. Maybe get some bigger monitors or more monitors and do a Replicano setup like he has. Be cool to just do some scalps and then go to 3 or 4 other accounts and do some scalps there. And then by the end of the day, you've got 10 or 15 accounts and 100 or 2 on each account. I notice he's a lot more timid with his goals now, so he'll just do a couple hundred and call it a day, which is good for him. It's probably a secret why he's doing so much better. I mean, he's made $18,000 from Lucid this month. That's super motivating for me. Yeah, super motivating for me. 2 years ago, when I first started watching him, he was a terrible trader. Had a really bad time, really hard time. Couldn't help but feel bad for the guy. He was really struggling. Costs a lot of money. And we've all been there. I'm no exception. Nice. Tradify is pretty good, huh, CP? I remember when they first came out, I was a little hesitant, but after I think I've had 2 or 3 accounts with them, maybe 3, and 2 of those I passed. One of them, let's see, was it? I can't remember if it was Tradify or Take Profit Trader. The one that I got like $200 from, and then I had the massive crash, and oh man, I wanted to throw my computer. I was so mad that day. But I really love when I first started playing with Tradify's back office and all the reporting and everything. I really loved that. I really was impressed with that. And I like that you can use the features I like on Tradivate. In fact, let me look. I haven't even checked yet on this. Is a trade day. Let's just do something arbitrary. No, they don't let you use it either. That sucks. Yeah, that sucks. I like that feature where it stops when you want it to. But yeah, Tradify is awesome. I really like them. I was actually thinking I might do a straight defunded account. I know they're kind of expensive, but that 35% off helps quite a bit. Do they do CP? Do they do? I think they changed the payout frequency too, right? Can you do daily payouts now that you're funded? Because it used to be 10 days, and I think they changed that. Man, NQ and MES have sunk pretty hard, guys. Maybe some good buy opportunities, but it could be a slide day too. Oh, I see. Every 7 days. What's the size of account? What's the buffer? And then what's the split on the portion you can take over the buffer? 5 days of 150 or more on 50K. Gotcha. I I think if I remember right, I had the 50K account, and the buffer was like 2,000 or 3,000, I can't remember, but the payout maximum would have been $1,200. And I was like $200 away from getting that. God, that sucked. I was so mad. That took like 3 weeks to get to that point, and I was super careful and blew it at the very end. We all do it. We all do it. Some people do it worse than others. Some people have 20 accounts they do that on instead of one. Imagine spending a couple $1,000s in evals and getting $100 away from payments so you could pay yourself back, and then blowing it all and have to do it all again. Jeez. Pretty hard spike down, guys. We went from 23,280 to 23,186. We're about 100 down right now in 20, 30 minutes. First payout was 1,500 and goes up 250 each payout. Nice. Good for you, man. Congrats. That's definitely something to celebrate, because it's hard. It's definitely not easy, especially when you got life and everything else, you know. I mean, it'd be one thing if you just had dedicated 4 hours a day in your office at your computer and you could hyper focus, but when you got other things pulling you, man. 1,750, good for you. That's good. It's well earned, man. I know you've bought plenty of accounts and went through it. You've done the time. How many accounts total do you have now? If I remember right, there's been times where you've had several accounts at a time, but I don't know if you're still doing that or if you're just down to one account now. MES, MNQ, both still sinking. I don't see any signs of reversal yet. My gold trade is looking like the best. Just the one? Yeah, good for you. Good for you. I don't know much about Brett Simba, but a lot of people like him. So I think he runs a pretty good setup there. Okay. I want to see what happens on gold here. Are you CP? You doing anything? What do you trade mostly? You trading MNQ, or what do you trade mostly? I'm gonna grab a gold buy here in a sec, guys. I think we're gonna. Let's go 25. Let's go 80 here. Stretch this down a little bit. Just hit some arbitrary number just to get me going. Yeah. May have been a little early on that. We'll see if this, hopefully that candle closes over the 21. I should have waited for that, but I want to catch this move. I need to make up some ground. Let that be my runner. I'm liking gold. I'm liking the gold buy here. We're going to see if we can pull us out of the negative and put us into the positive with the trade here. Watch for a couple minutes. Watch this candle close. See what our RSI is going to do. But yeah, I get it, CP. I totally get it. Like I said, that's been my stance since I started the channel. Is like, I don't want to buy more. I mean, it's tempting. It'd be great to just do 10 accounts and then, only have to go for $50 or something an account. That'd be awesome. But the flip side of that is if things go south on you, geez, It's a lot of money in rebills, a lot of money in evals. I think it's better just do one account at a time, refine your strategy. When you get a payout, then look at branching up, you know? Maybe wait for a couple payouts. It's not a bad idea either. Let's get this candle to close above the 21. Get some RSI, get some buyers coming in. Man, what a sink on NQ. Guys, that thing's just dropping. This is kind of the level that I'd be looking for a buy at. Just going off our order blocks here. 330, 23. Okay, got about a minute left in this candle. Man, look at that sink. Pretty good dip. I don't see any reason to buy yet, though. I'm gonna wait. If we buy on any of those, we'll wait for a good sign. It might just be one of those days that it just sinks like crazy on us. Bears might just gain some control for a bit and just rip that thing down. It's been ripping high all week. 2-3 weeks, actually. Been ripping really hard every day. Candle closed, but it was right below the 21, so now it's poking back above it. Really want to see that. I'd really feel a lot better about this when the resistance disappears. I mean, there's a support built in there now that wasn't there 20 minutes ago. Okay. Let's look at our daily chart here. On gold, yeah, we've been quite a bit higher. Ultimate high was 35. That's crazy. I remember telling my wife that we were looking at some analysts 5 or 6 years ago, and they're saying gold would be 3,000 by the year 2030. Here it is 2025, and it's higher than that. That is just wild. Gold Gold has had some super strong strength. Last 12 months, gold's went up 30%. 12 months. That is crazy. Got a good spike this morning. Let's see my stop loss. Look at this. My stop loss. I went to bed. It looked like it was going to spike up to these levels, so I think I had a tight stop right here, and I was aiming for this level here. And 2 hours later, I would have been there and higher. But that's trading for you. Sinking lower. MQ, MES both sinking lower. Well, MQ's not. It's kind of floating, but MES is. It's hit that lower block I was looking at earlier. But how far will it go? Will it go clear to here today? We're looking at 63. Be quite a slide if it did. Man, gold is just touching that 21. It just wants to break it so bad. We're just looking for more buyers. Once it does, we're gonna rip. Man, look at that slide. Got out. Glad I got out when I did. These would be account killers if I didn't. I can make up 300 or 400. That's not a big deal, but making up 2,000 is kind of hard. And then trying to bring profit too. Let's go. Crazy. Okay, MQ is starting to make a little bit of recovery. So is ES. They're both recovering a little bit. Wonder if I should just do small. I think that's a bull trap. Yeah, I think those are bull traps. I'm not going to touch that. Yeah, those look like they're trying to trap. We'll see what happens, but this could be a crazy day. Could be a crazy day. Okay, let's do this. While we're waiting for a setup, let me show you where I'm at for the year. This is where I'm at for the year. January to July. I bought the Simple Market Metrics last year. It's been about a year actually from now. Cost $99. Had some really good success, really bad success with that. So bad luck with it. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I will say for sure, one thing I would, if I could go back in time, I would not do is I would not use the signals. I think the signals are garbage on every time frame, on every asset. I would not use them. So right now our tally is we've bought, this is actually supposed to be 7. We're at 7 of prop counts for this year. And 4 I've passed to Sim Live. 3 I didn't pass. I still have 1 TPT Pro account. Just don't have the $600 to reactivate it, but I don't want to do that until I can get a payout. I really want to get, the plan is to get a payout and use that money to activate that, and that'll become my second account. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about doing. Came within $200 of a payout. That was super frustrating. The 7th account is a trade day account. I found the best code and the best deal with that as of right now. But yeah, that's where I'm at for the year. That's an update for me. It's been up and down. I think January through April was pretty solid, and then from April till now has been really difficult. The markets have definitely flipped a little bit. Things have changed. A lot of volatility, a lot of craziness. A lot of people struggling. It's not been easy. And anybody who has to work full time or have other commitments outside of trading, it just makes it all the more complicated, all the more difficult. Okay, our gold trade, I got in that a little bit premature. I want to catch it at a good level. My entry is right above the 21, so if we break that 21, we'll be to break even very soon. We're in a pretty tight range on gold too, so it's really going to depend on if we can break levels before we make any certain moves. I still don't see a good signal to buy on ES or NQ. Pretty good slide though today. Geez, that moved fast too. In 15 minutes, we were dipped hard. I should have been a little bit better about my stop losses. One thing I'm trying to improve my trading on is my stop loss work. There for a long time, I didn't trade with stop loss, so it's hard to get back in the habit of using a stop loss. Where to place them, where to adjust them to, when to mess with them, when to not. Long time I didn't use stop losses, but eventually you'll get in a situation that's you'll get a situation where you think you're no better than the market and you don't need to have stop loss, and then your account's blown. So if I can just get it to where I can set appropriate stop losses and not take a whole bunch of stops so I can keep growing. That's my fear, is I just take too many stops because I get too close and then the move goes where I want it anyway. That's super frustrating. I think we all know how that emotion feels. It's not fun. Okay. So we're about 20 minutes in this trade. Just kind of hovering at that same little level. Up, down, doesn't really... It teases us and then breaks back below the 21, so... I'm really hoping that we can... get some gain there today, but... we'll see what happens. Order block formed on NQ, but it also dipped into the profit wave and retraced pretty hard, so that's kind of why I'm thinking it's a bull trap. That's another reason I think that a lot of times when these sink, the gold goes up. Gold and these kind of move opposite on a lot of it. Not always, but a lot of times. I've seen all three of them move the same direction before. It just depends. There's a lot of factors to it. Okay, we're still in our gold position, holding tight here. Last half hour, it's only moved just a bit. Just very, very slow movements. Not much going on. Whereas ES and NQ have just slid. Super, super big slides. I don't know why, but I just keep looking at that chart thinking I don't think we're done sliding. I do not feel good about buying at those levels. Okay. Got about 3 minutes left in this candle. We're sitting on a green order block. We're in the middle of a bigger red order block, so some support, some resistance. It's pretty tight right here. It's been kind of a tight morning on gold so far. Not near as much room and distance as the NQ and ES have been. Yeah, look at that 1 minute chart. Super tight. Tons of support and resistance, all within a real tight range. So we're real tight on gold so far today. Gold may be a patience game today. I'd love to break this level here. I think if we can break this upper resistance and this red disappears. A lot of times when price will get like 3/4 through a block, it'll disappear. When I see a resistance disappear, then a lot of times I'm a lot more confident in adding to the position. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. If I get to here, I'll add another one, and we'll shoot for where we got to shoot for. Now, will it go that way? Will it work that way? That remains to be seen. I've played that same type of strategy before, and it's worked very, very well. But this market's hard. I'm not gonna lie. I've actually had a lot of, like I said, I would say January to April this year, I did phenomenal. You can look through my YouTubes. There's a lot of days we kicked some butt. We had some really, really good days. I felt like I could read the market well. I got some good entries, protected things well, added where I needed to. I mean, I've had weeks and weeks of just solid bang, 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 win, 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 just day after day. And that's when trading's fun, when it feels like you can read the market. Days like this kind of suck because you're just stuck in a real tight range. There's no real clear one way or the other. I would say range days are what kills accounts because people are just trying so hard to make money. And it doesn't matter what you do, buy or sell, it's not going to move one way or the other. So you're just going to take loss after loss. Then when it does finally catch traction, when it breaks one of those ranges, either the up or the downside, and starts flying somewhere, you're on the wrong side of it. Because 15 minutes earlier, it was pointing the other way. And when you get these up for 15, down for 15, up for 15, down for 15, big spike up, so you think it's going to fly, and then it drops. I mean, they're just playing ping pong with losers, right? They're the big guys are like, let's just take all their money. So they're just doing this throughout this little range, and then boom, they'll pull it where they want. So you can analyze it all you want, and you think, okay, that's exactly where it's going to go, and eventually it does, but you're going to have to go through a minefield to get there. And they love it. That's how they make their money. Yeah, that's why the market moves like that. It's designed that way. That's where that's what they call the liquidity grab. Crossing down on gold. So we just hit the -12 on gold. Like I said, I wouldn't take a sell because we're above the 200. That's my overall trend definer. It's sitting right on a support order block too, so I want to watch this for a bit. It's the only trade I got going right now, so I can watch it for a bit and see what happens. Okay, guys, look. 10 minutes ago, I was saying, I don't like this. This looks like a trap to me. And look what happened. Look how far down that went. And I think this is trickiness right here. This is sneakiness on the market's part. Everybody can see this. Everybody can see what it's doing here. And everybody's just jumping in. Let's buy. Let's buy. Let's buy. And look what happened. They just let all those people jump in, and they took that money off the table. Slimy suckers, man. They pull some shady stuff. It's just how the market works. I mean, it's looking for liquidity. Wherever it's moving, it's looking for money. It's looking for buy orders here. It's looking for sell orders here. So it's kind of an interesting beast. But yeah, I didn't like that at all. That didn't look good for me for a buy at all. Yes, it slid quite a bit, and we want to retrace some of that, but not at that level. I mean, for me, I would seriously get interested at these levels. And if it breaks and crosses this gap, I mean, that's another 70 points down, 100 points down from where we are now. But it's not impossible. NQ does that kind of stuff all the time. Yes, we still got a ways to go too. 6,300 from 6,330. So we got 30 points on ES, which is the equivalent of 200 on NQ. So, Little spike down on gold. Spiked into that support. Got about 2 minutes left on this candle. I want to see how this rejects. I want to see if this wick stays here. We're just watching price action here. Last 45 minutes or so, this has just been glued to the EMA, 21 EMA. Goes above it, rings right back. Goes below it, brings it right back. Oh man, look at those sink. Yes, and MQ, sinking. I feel bad for everybody who bought here. I can see how they'd think that. I could see why they would get excited about that, but I didn't see it. I could just see it was a trap. And yeah, I'm down for the day. I'd like to get that back, but not at that level. Let's wait for a better level to execute on. Now, 5 years ago me, 10 years ago me, I'd be in 10 positions already. I would have just lost my account right there. Because I thought, okay, let's go. We lost 3, so let's add 10. And then it only has to go as third as far, and we're back to break even. When it goes back where I wanted it to, we got 3 times the profit, and then it drops against me, and then I'm 3,000 times in the negative. Getting my card out and let's buy another account. I learned some things over the years. This year's been tough too, though. I'm not gonna lie. I did really well in the spring, but last couple months have been really rough. It's been a lot harder to trade. Got about a minute left in this candle. That wick is still there. It's still kind of... I really want to see what the RSI is going to do. If we go much lower than this level here, I can highlight that's on the screen. These 2 wicks rejected really hard. So it gets to that level and does the same thing, I'll hang tight. If it breaks through that level, then we're going to get out. We'll just take our third loss for the day. We may end the day there. I don't know. I need to be smart how I trade, and I've really focused on getting a payout. I'm kind of slowing my roll a little bit and just trying to be really particular on the trades I take. And then trying to carry that through to my funded stage too. That's one of the difficult things is I trade really well in eval, and I get to funded and I get carried away. I think everybody does that. One of the reasons I like a direct to funding account is I think I'll just set things up and just trade it the same every day, as far as my daily profit trigger goes and all that. So we'll see here. Man, look at that drop down. Ugly. I wish Nutty was streaming so I could see how he did through that, because stuff like that usually is hard for him. A lot of people get kicked in the butt with those. Yeah, he's not streaming today. Okay, who we got watching the stream? I got some viewers. Looks like I got up to 5 now, so who we got? Both these gold trades, I was just barely on the right side of the 21. Hey, Cyclonic. Good morning. Been a while, man. How you doing? Yeah, both these gold trades. This gold trade was all good. I really thought it was gonna spike. I was a little bit before the market, though. I should have waited till the market was open. I've noticed lots of days I'll watch and things look really good for a setup, and then the market opens and everything changes. I should just wait. Most days at work, I can't do anything till about 8 o'clock anyway, which is really good because that's 30 minutes after the market open. Most of the craziness from any kind of news or the open just volatility is gone by then. Gold is struggling today. Really not that good. Not near as good a moves as yesterday. So like I said, I've got this lower level here. 33.58 is kind of the area where it's spiked off of the last, since the market's open. It's hit that level twice and bounced pretty hard off of it. So just got to be patient here. Still not liking the ES and NQ situation. I don't really look at that. I don't think I want to buy those yet. God, could we get clear down here? Could we get clear down to 23, 133 from 23 up 208? Could it really sink that far? I mean, that'd be a great slide for the day. It's dipping in that profit wave and it's rejected a couple times. So as we watch things over my channel, and we've looked at this profit wave, you can kind of tell a lot from that. I mean, every time you get these spikes into it, then look what happens. The next couple of candles dip down really hard. Same with ES. We had 2 candles poke into it, and the next 2 are down super hard. Good. Getting some positive movement on gold now. Still playing with that 21 EMA. New candle came out and it spiked up pretty good, so keeps flipping green. The candle color is not as important as crossing the EMA, in my opinion. I like to see them both at the same time or very close to each other, but the EMA is really what I watch. I've got alerts set for my histogram on gold and on micro ES. Be real strategic how I take those trades. I don't want to lose anymore. New accounts always start out in a loss. I don't know why. That's just kind of how it goes. Maybe it calms me down. Maybe seeing that I'm a little bit behind slows my roll a little bit. Makes me be a little more particular with my setups. And 2.5 minutes in this candle. This is a promising candle. If we can break above this level, you may start seeing some north action here. Yes, cyclonic, very much so. Yeah. I was anticipating, doing my analysis this morning, I was anticipating reaching some newer, or going back to the highs we were at already. That's why I'm focusing on this chart so much, because my analysis this morning, I really saw us being in this area here, anywhere between 33.69 to 33.85. That's the range I really thought we'd shoot for today. Still could happen. Still really could happen. Everything looks primed for it. I'm just really focused on that trade right now because it still looks good to me. It's had some decent rise, but we've still got room to go before we're anywhere near highs. So, yeah, 5 a.m. Me too. I woke up about 6 my time, so about 3 hours ago. That's where this first trade came into play. Looked at what the price action was, looked at my hourly chart, looked at where my target zones were, and I thought, well, I placed my trade right above this level, and at that time this wasn't here. So we had broke through this resistance. I thought, well, we're sure to fly to that next one. But you can analyze all you want, and sometimes the market still does something different. So what do you think on ES and NQ? You do any trades with those guys today? I don't like the levels. I don't like where it's as fast as it's came down, as much momentum. I feel like it's just going to keep going. That's why I'm going to be real particular on my RSI, because until the RSI tells me anything different, I don't really want to. Like, look at this. This spiked up into the profit wave. I wouldn't be surprised if the next couple of candles are clear down to here. We spiked down to 63.27. Then there's a pretty good gap to 63.22. But yeah, I think we're just going to head south. If I was going to do anything, I'd sell here. In fact, let's give it a shot. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I took a sell on ES at this level, right at the profit wave. Got a pretty wide room. So I got a lot of room to breathe here. Now, if things went against me, I would stop this trade before I got anywhere near that sell. I just like to have one on there just in case. But I like to move them to appropriate levels. I don't like just an arbitrary number to set it at. I like to move it to a level that makes sense. But yeah, I would sell here. I mean, this is telling me sell right here, not buy. I could have some. I could have nutty bars luck, and we end up the other way. Maybe I'll sell and you guys buy, and you guys will win and I'll lose. What are you saying, Cyclonic? You can't use SMM at this time? So I've mostly been trading gold. You're not using SMM? Honestly, I just use I like how this candle chart lays out. I like how the candles look, but I don't use SMM anyway. I don't really, especially the signals. I will never use the signals again. I do not trust them. I would not recommend them. There was a time I was really hip on them and they worked really well. Not anymore. I wouldn't recommend you take any signal that it produces for you. I do like the candle colors. I do like the candle layout. I've been looking at this chart for over a year now, and I figured I'd just modify it to where I'm comfortable with it. So I do like the support and resistance zones that come with it. But the order blocks are important, and so is the RSI. So, and sure enough, I just thought, well, let's sell this, and it started buying. So just doing terrible. All week I've had a pretty good week too. Yeah, SMM I have mixed feelings about. There's been some days I've had some really, really good success, and there's been some days it's led me wrong. And it's not just the SMM, it's the market's crazy, right? But the SMM hasn't done anything for clarity. And that's kind of how it was approached. That's the channel that you watch to get the information on SMM. He wins every day, and that's not realistic. I think he's only showing wins. He doesn't show you all the losses. I know he doesn't. I can tell you that right now. Anybody who has it and uses it in real time in a real scenario, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. I've talked to 50 different traders with the same story. So Cyclonic, I don't know if you're trading any accounts or anything, but one thing I was looking at, I like TradingView a lot. I've kind of just got stuck on TradingView, but there's actually some pretty cool platforms out there that are free. TickBlaze is one that I was looking at the other day. I thought that actually looks pretty good too. So if you're just wanting something free, that might be a good way to do it too. But I love TradingView. TradingView is just my way to do it for me. I like TradingView the best of the platforms that I've used. I know another guy that uses TopStepX, and he likes it a lot. It's based off TradingView. Or uses similar functions as TradingView. I haven't used Project X. What's it like? I haven't seen any screenshots of it or anything. What's it like? I hear a lot of people say they don't like it because they feel like that something with it will share information with other brokers, or I've heard some vague rumblings about that, but I don't know much about it. Okay, so now just to update, if you're just joining, we're buying gold right now. We're at a level that we want to watch some gold for the day. We're a little bit in the negative on that gold trade, kind of hanging tight to see if it's going to break those levels we were talking about earlier. And then we just added a sell to yes. Oh, it's the same as TopStep X. So it's similar to TradingView then, yeah? Because isn't TopStepX very similar to TradingView? Buellanox? Okay. Never did an account with Buellanox. Huh. But doesn't it share information? Doesn't it share like trader information to different brokers and like your wins and your losses and all that? I've heard people say that they don't like that. They feel like it's going to snitch on you to other firms, and then I don't know how they'll use that information against you, but it's not good. I think a lot of people just don't like that for privacy reasons. But I think a lot of people assume the society we live in is a lot more private than it really is. So I don't know. Okay, we're just hovering at entry on the ES South cell. Somebody has created X and is marketing it. I do see it available. I was looking at TickTick the other day on some of their direct-to-funding accounts, and Project X was an option. Maybe I'll look at. I want to research it. I actually like the idea. One thing I don't like about TradingView, I don't like that you have to upgrade. I don't like that you have to buy upgrades so you can set your charts up how you want. I don't like that. I feel like if you're buying an account, you shouldn't have to pay for the platform. Or let's put it this way: if you want to adjust your platform with some indicators and the scripts or whatever you want, you shouldn't have to pay a bunch of money for that. I pay like $25 a month for TradingView, and it doesn't make me any money. It's just, I mean, I can't run SMM on anything else, but it doesn't mean I couldn't set up a chart. I have a Quan Tower, and I actually have a Thinkorswim too. Any of those will have just your basic indicators. I mean, I can find an RSI, I can find EMAs, and I'm set. I can get the same information off that. So I don't really need to pay for a TradingView. I just prefer it. I just used it a long time now, and I feel like it's a massive upgrade over some Forex trading that I used to do, so I've been staying with it. If I would have sold when I got out, so when I exited the buy trade that I had earlier, if I'd have sold there, we'd be in a pretty good profit right now. Yeah, that does suck. That does suck, Cyclonic. I mean, how many, have you looked at it? How many indicators are built in? Or do they have indicators for purchase? Or do they have like the standard ones that are just built in? Like RSI, MACD, support and resistance, stuff like that? Because like I said, I wouldn't need SMM. I could trade. I actually have another chart. Look at this chart. This chart's just one that I used to use all the time, and it doesn't have SMM at all. I could build all these were free. All these indicators on here are free. This right here, ChopX, I just added that recently, and it's just 80x. So this dotted line that I put here is kind of, you don't want to trade unless it's above that. So like even in the slow session, it's just barely above it. So standard, okay. I may look at that in the future. I don't know. I may. I mean, like I said, it is kind of dumb. You have to pay. You know, back in Forex days when I was doing Forex real heavy, I didn't. The only time you have to pay for something is if you wanted to upload it that wasn't on there. But MT4 had thousands of indicators that were free. None of them really worked that good, but if you understand the basics, I mean, you could do a lot of your trading with just 2 EMAs. And then you just got to figure out where your levels are. But you can draw those out with a line chart, and that should be available on anything. So, but yeah, I don't know how I feel about some of the complaints I've heard. I don't know how I feel about brokers having all your information and being able to share it amongst themselves. I don't really like that. I don't really like another thing I'll say too. I'm not a big fan of a prop firm telling you what platform you need to use. I don't like that either. If I'm going to trade and I want to set it up how I want and I want to use the platform how I want, end of story. So probably won't be doing Top Step again because I just don't like, I mean, Project X is probably close enough to TradingView. It wouldn't really matter. But if somebody said you only can use Rhythmic, I'd be like, pound sand. I'm not using Rhythmic. I don't like Rhythmic. Rhythmic sucks in my opinion. Can I trade it? Yes. Do I like it? No. Basically, I mean, honestly, that's what SMM is built off of. The profit wave is exactly what you're saying. That's why my 21 is the bottom of the profit wave, because the profit wave is basically a series of EMAs. Heikin-Ashi is a little different than the candles, but it's similar. But yeah, if you did those 3 MEAs and the Heikin-Ashis, you'd get very similar results. It's close enough it wouldn't matter. Still not looking good for buys on ES or NQ. I do not see. We are at the daily lows. My sell is in the negative, but I don't see a reason to buy. I'm not liking the buy. Gold is still the same. We have not made any distinctive moves. We've just slid a little bit from where we entered, but we have not. It's not really. It's not hit that level I want to see to cancel. It's not hit the level I want to see to add to. So we're just kind of in between for now. But yeah, Cyclonic, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about if you go to a prop firm and they say you have to use this platform? How does that make you feel? I mean, if you can trade it, great. But what? I don't know. I just don't like that. And then you go to, there's so many other prop firms. I mean, the prop firm space is crazy now. 2 years ago, it was very, very simple compared to what it is now. And there's so many options out there and so many platforms out there too. My hell, there's Motive Wave and Quantower and Thinkorswim. I mean, there's just flipping Project X, Rhythmic, Sierra Charts. I haven't done much with Sierra Charts. I do have a Quantower. It's cool. I could trade it. I could do it. And like I said, I've seen Project X. It's very similar to TradingView. I guess. Well, I mean, Top Step X is what I'm talking about. So if Project X is the same, then yeah, that's not a big deal. I thought it was different for some reason, but that makes sense. But like I said, I like when you go to a firm and they have multiple options and you pick what you want. I like that. I don't like them saying you only can trade here if you use this. To me, it feels like they're doing something on the back end. To me, it feels like that is definitely a negative for us, not for that doesn't increase. I think the story it's going to increase your wins. Bull crap. Your win rate is higher with using that platform. I think that's an out and out lie. How would you? No, I don't think that's true at all. I mean, the features it has are awesome, but it's not that big a difference. I don't buy that at all. I think they're just trying to sell you on the idea that that's the platform you should use. And you know what? There's probably more to the story than we know. There's probably things going on in the back end with the brokers that we will never know. It's just proprietary information that they're spinning it one way, but it's really a different reason. Like they're trying to link us all together so they can group us in certain categories. I don't know. It's better for them somehow, for sure. Sorry, I was sitting back a little bit. Can you hear a little better now? I haven't streamed for a while, so I changed my setup from what I usually use. So, just trying to find that sweet spot that I used to have. Man, I am sucking it as a trader today. I am just doing terrible. I am just doing terrible. Gold trade has not panned out good. I've done nothing but lose money on ES and NQ. I've been on the wrong side of it all freaking day. It's a brand new account. I'm already $600 down. Maybe I'm not built as a trader. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing at all. Because no matter what I do, it's wrong. And that's one of the reasons I don't like SMM, because it was supposed to help clarify things, and it doesn't help you at all. you can enter a buy when it says to buy, and it'll skip against you and you lose. So it doesn't. Especially the signals. The signals are garbage. Don't take the signals; they're garbage. Okay, we're gonna watch this for 2 more minutes. If this candle breaks above the 21, we're gonna cancel it and get out, because that might be the first sign that we're gonna flip on us now. Yep, SMM will murder your accounts. You're absolutely right. That's why you don't see any payouts on my channel. I can pass prop firms, but I get murdered. When there's a range or a choppy zone, you just get murdered. And everybody who buys it finds out when they own it. They think it's just going to be win after win after win like it's advertised, and it's not like that at all. I've tried I've had it for over a year, or about a year. I've tried it on multiple time frames. I've tried different setups. I've tried to add things, change things. I've tried to play with it every which way. Just eventually it's going to kill your account. Bright Sparks, you're 100% right. We'll just wind you up into a ball. Okay, I'm not going to cancel my gold trade. Hey, Trader Matt. Are you on Nutty Stream too, Trader Matt? We're talking about the SMM indicator. Okay, I'm getting out of this, and we are going to buy, and we are going to buy on NQ, and we're just going to stop messing around and make some money today, or we're going to sink like the Titanic. Might be calling my submarine the Titan. I was gonna say, I think I've seen you on Nutties before. How you doing, Trader Matt? I think I've seen you on there before. We were talking about the SMM indicator. I've chopped it up a little bit. It doesn't look the same as it does when you buy it. I've kind of Hannibal Lectered it to my liking and my use, but that's what this is right here. My channel, if you look at my channel, I've got lots of videos about it. I did really well with it for the first couple months of this year, but as the markets changed over this course of this year, a lot of people complained. I actually got flagged for one of my videos for false advertising because I was using the SMM indicator from Google. And that's when I really started to take a step back and think, okay, this isn't working. I have tried every time frame. I've tried every add-on. I've tried every version I can. I like this screen setup, so I'm not really using the SM indicator other than the candles. I like how the candles look. That's the only thing I really use it for. My entries are based off my RSI and my EMAs, and then I use my levels, which none of that comes with the SMM. The support resistance lines, there's 50,000 indicators that you can get the same information from. So what we're talking about is when you buy it and you add it to your chart, it doesn't work like you think it's going to. It doesn't work like it's advertised. Big time. Yeah, it does not work in choppy markets at all. And it's advertised that it will. It's advertised you'll win every day with it, and that is so not true. If you look at the channel it comes from, Every single day it shows a winning video. It doesn't, but it's just cherry picking wins. That's all it's doing. I was a big proponent for it for a long time. I'll still leave the videos on there because you can see there's some days it works really well, but there's a lot of days if you put all your trust in it, you'll lose, and that's exactly why I don't have any payout videos on my channel. If it was such a great indicator, I'd have had payout videos 6 months ago. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. So I'm not trying to hide anything. I mean, just look at my channel. If it was such a great indicator and I could get consistent wins just using it, then why don't I have payouts? Because I can pass an account and it does a decent job in trend markets, but it doesn't help you in choppy at all. And no matter how you set your stop, you're going to lose. So if you set your stop on the other end of the 21, you'll lose. If you set it at the profit wave, you'll lose. If you set it as a static number, you'll lose so many trades in choppy markets that it will take more than it gives you. Yeah, you're welcome. No, you're welcome. You know what, Trader Matt? I have so many people that have emailed me and reached out through communications that have had, they're like, man, I bought this and it doesn't work. It's not like anything like I thought it was going to be. All the videos I watched, I was super hyped up for it. I thought it was going to be awesome. It doesn't work at all. I've just blown account after blown account after blown account. And you look like you do really well with it, them talking to me type of deal. And everything I put on my channel is exactly what my experience is. So there's been days it's been awesome, and there's been days it hasn't helped me at all. Yeah, Bright Spark, same thing with me. I am right there back to that as well. I mean, I still like the candles. The visual of this is appealing to me. I like that, but you're absolutely right. The Heikin-Ashi part of it does not show you the real market moves. So for example, you'll get a Heikin-Ashi candle that says buy. You'll buy. The very next candle will be 25 pips in the other direction, but it's still green, still got a green back. You're still above the EMA. Then if you flip over to a regular candle chart, you would have seen that you shouldn't have bought there in the beginning because the regular candles didn't show that at all. But since one of them spiked up and down, the way the Heikin-Ashi formed, it made it look like it was going up, and so that signaled a buy. But the reality of the price action was not the same. Right? That's exactly what you're talking about. That's why, so this chart right here, I could trade off this chart all day long. And this chart has no Heikin-Ashis, no SMM, nothing. And I could trade off this all day long. I get my information, I get my buy signals from the histogram. Of course, that histogram is based off of, the alerts are based off the Heikin-Ashi candles and not the, I need to change that. They're not based off actual candles. Yeah, I probably should get away from this candles, the look of these candles too. The candles, it's deceiving too because the way these candles look, it's clean. It gives you a very clean look, but it doesn't help you with what the price action is. It's kind of hiding the price action in a way that makes it look deceiving. So it gives you a false sense. And when you catch a good one, you're going to do great. You can do really, really good, but it also can kick your butt. Exactly. Yeah, well, and that's what I was talking about earlier, Bright Spark. I've watched the videos on how to set your stop loss using the SMM and the way they recommend it. You're exactly right. Every time you get into a choppy market, no matter how you set your stop loss, either you don't set one and you take a bunch of big losses, or you set one and it's too close and you just get chop, 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 and it's loss after loss after loss after loss. There was some days I've actually took like 4 or 5 losses in a row. Now that system does not work if you're taking 4 or 5 losses in a row. I'm sorry. The market changes every day. You can blame it on the market all you want, but any system that gives you those kind of results is not worth using. I would be better off just looking at 2 EMAs on a naked chart. I would have made drastically different decisions. I've actually went through and looked at charts that I've lost on using SMM and then went back to just like a naked chart, that one I just showed you. And I'm like, why did I do that? It's given me a completely different. So this is appealing to your eye, but it also is deceptive. So you're absolutely right. I need to get away from looking at those candles. I'm so used to this chart, it's hard for me to break that. And even though I have other strategies that I've used years and years before that I really know are kind of my core trading strategies, this actually it gives me a counterproductive view, and it skews that. And that's why you have no payouts on here. I mean, I've passed 4 different evals only to blow them in the funded stage. Now, if this was such a great tool, I mean, if you look at the channel that it's on, every single day there's getting payouts and making money. So maybe there's another part of it I don't have, but there's thousands of people that have bought this that are just like, this doesn't work. It doesn't work like that at all. Real ownership is not like that at all. So it is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. And I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to pretend that's not real. I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to try and make up for it. My experience on my channel has been a real owner's experience. And it is what it is. I'm not going to make excuses for it. I'm not going to try and change it and make it something it's not. What you see is what you get. Trader Matt, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate your support. I wish I could be on here more. But yes, thank you for stopping by. That means a lot, and you have a good day too. We'll see you. If you want to subscribe and do the notification every time I can stream, I will try to put a premiere up so it's available for a little while before the actual stream. So if you want to join in again, you can. But thank you for showing up. Yeah, Justin cherry picks. Justin will go through, and what he does in the morning, he'll go through, he'll wait till he has a good trade or two, he'll make a video on that, and then it's always hindsight. He'll always draw the levels out where he should have won, where he won, but you never see it in real time, right? Every now and again, you'll see him where he's clicked over to his trading or his trade evade, and you'll see how many losses he's taken, and a lot of times he's taken more losses than wins, but he only shows the win. That's deceitful. That's deceitful. And at first, what I thought it was, well, okay, this system, they say that it works really good on 1 minute, 2 minute. I got murdered in that scenario, so I put 5 minute. When I did the 5 minute chart, I started having a little bit better luck, but still, you're absolutely right, Bite Spark. You ended up just getting murdered. It will just chop your account in half. You will be buying a new eval in 20 minutes. And if you do the signals there for a while, I thought, oh man, these signals are gold. Because there's been times, you can look through the videos I have, there's been times those signals have worked really, really well. I started getting dependent on it. I started getting over cocky with it. And it absolutely just shot me in the foot. It absolutely shot me in the foot. So I don't recommend it. I'm not going to be using anymore. This chart you're looking at here, I've left these candles, but that's all I do. The SMM does nothing for me. My entry and exits here, the two main things I trade off of are my 200 and my 21, which, speaking of that, look where gold is. Now we're finally getting somewhere after 45 minutes of sitting here. Now we broke the 21. We're finally going the way I want it to go. We're bullish here, we're bullish there. I do like this little data indicator. That is kind of neat. I mean, it's not that hard to click to a 1 hour chart and look at it yourself, but it is nice to have it on the same, right? So when we get to my entry, we're going to add one more because I really feel like we're going to go up today. Awesome. Trader Matt, if you're still here, thank you. It was good having you. You're welcome anytime. I went through 10 50K accounts and called it quits. Doesn't work for my trading style. Bright Spark 88, the realization, it doesn't work for anybody's trading style. It's smoke and mirrors. I hate to say that, but it's true. I'm not gonna be a supporter of it anymore. This video and this live stream won't have any of the affiliate links or anything like that anymore. They're all going to be taken off. Because it's the same thing. There for a while, I was very convinced it was a great tool and it was going to get me funded. I mean, the whole reason we do all this is to get funded and make money. It's not a game. It's not a video game. I've got plenty of those, right? But I've been through, well, okay, speaking of that, I don't know if you saw this earlier, but here's where I'm at for the year, guys. I'm going to show you where I'm at for the year. Now you tell me if that's and I did the same thing Here's the thing. I was really consistent with how I traded. I used the same information for how I traded. And look where we are. January to July. SMM cost $99. 7 prop accounts purchased. 4 of them I passed a sim live, which that's good. It's good if you can pass an eval. It means nothing if you can't make money. Passing an eval and playing a video game are the same exact thing, financial-wise. I'm over $1,000 in evals. I have 1 TPT Pro account I can activate. 3 I didn't pass over the last 2 months. I didn't even pass the evals using simple market metrics. That just tells you the last 3 months have been so drastically different. The market's definitely changed and been harder, but there's been a lot more chop, and it doesn't work in chop. I came $200 within payout. Now this right here, I have to blame myself for some of this because I got so excited to get a payout and so obsessed with getting a payout, I was leveraged too high. I didn't give myself any room for error and a couple spikes. This is one of those days I took 4 or 5 losses in a row. I was $200 within a payout. 4 or 5 losses later, the account was blown. So I'm on my 7th account for the year that I started yesterday. I'm down a little bit. I usually start an account down, so that's not like a super big shock for me. And it's not enough that I'm worried about. Like I've made up bigger deficits before. So now what I'm trying to do is just be real strategic and clear on my entries and where I want to be. I think that's a secret to some success too, is when I'm down a little bit, I slow my roll and I'm a little bit more particular on my setups, and it usually works out. CP, yeah, CP, yes. I passed the TP. I've actually passed 2 TPT evals. Let's see. I have to look. I may have, actually, now that you say that, I think I do have, you're right. Now that you say that, I actually need to make a change on that. I have two TPT Pro accounts because I passed 2 evals at 2 different, one's a 100K and one's a 50K. But I'm not going to pay, the activation fee, what I was saying earlier, the activation fee is like $600 or $650 or $680 or something like that, and I'm just going to wait till I get a payout to do that. So that's a funded reset. You're exactly right. But when you said that, I did pass 2 TPT accounts. Okay, we just got an alert on RSI. We're above 21. We're at 12 on the RSI for gold. Now, looking at the 1 hour chart, we've got a ways to go till this next resistance. This was yesterday and this was the day before. So 33.75 is kind of the high of the week. The low of the week was 33.13. This morning we were about 50% of that both ways. So now we're getting somewhere, guys. We're getting some traction. I'm just going to let these I'm going to let the NQ and ES ones run because now we've got solid confirmation. We're going up a little bit better there too. We're above 21, above on our SI. Yeah, these are curled up good. So same on gold. So we're going to hang tight for a bit, but we're doing better now. We're actually in some good trades. So going to hang tight for a sec. I want to add to this gold, but I want to see it get to, I think what I'll do is I'll wait till it gets to this top level, like I was saying this morning. When I get to this top resistance, I think we'll add there. If we get from where our entry is to there, and this red zone disappears, then we should clear for some higher movement. Will it do that? I don't know. That's kind of what I'm just looking at that maybe. But yeah, look at ES go. Look at NQ go. Rise, baby, rise. If they break the 200, So 200 has been my trend definer since the Forex days. When I use that 200, that is kind of my, if we break those levels now. On a retracement, when you're shooting back into the 200, that's one thing. But if you're above it, you've got some more power. So if we break that, we could really rise. Is what I'm getting at. That could be a rocket ship. NQ's right there. We're just right there. Gold is, we're starting to get some RSI action, so gold may pop really hard on us here. We'll see. Man, this popped back pretty hard on us too. So yeah, we could get some good. Right, Spark, I do the same thing. Every single trader in the planet does the same thing. It's such an emotional, mental game. We all get so excited when we start doing good. We get over leveraged, over cocky. SMM really confused me there for a while. My gut was saying don't do something, but the chart was saying to do something, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it wouldn't. So I was all spun around. I really was. But I'm my one worst enemy too. What sucked is when you're really trying to be careful and you're just doing one trade at a time. So I never DCA or anything like that. I just do one trade at a time, win or loss, right? So a lot of guys, they'll just buy and buy and buy and buy, hope it goes up until they're just DCA'd into oblivion. When they should walk away. But what really sucks is when you sit there for 3 hours and you take a loss, and then you take another loss, and then you okay, this one's going to win, then you take another loss, and then you get a small win, and you get a glimmer of hope, and then you take a big loss, and you look down and you're like 4 hours of just getting my head kicked in. Sucks. So, and then you look at a Blake chart and you're like, if I would have just stayed with the regular chart, I would have avoided this. You go to something like this and you're like, this was so much simpler to read. Here's my 200. We're above that, so we're going to only look for buys. Clear rejection off the 200 here. Oh, that's on a 15-minute chart. Go to 5-minute. 21's what we enter on. Crossing up. So we just got some RSI action on ES and Q. So using your 21 as your entry, right? You want to have them together. So these are good entry points when they're together. But a lot of people just use the 21. They don't even do the 200. So if it's above it, buy. If it's below it, sell. It's very simple. But we like to, as traders, we like to complicate and overcomplicate. That's one of our biggest problems. Okay, let's stay on this chart for a bit. So basically this chart is just a very basic chart. We've got the Chop X, which is kind of an ADX mod. We've got our 200 for a trend definer. We've got a 21 for an entry. Okay, so we're going to use, if we're above the 21 and we're above the 200 and we get an RSI alert, then we buy. If we're below the 200, we're below the 21, and we get a below RSI, then we sell. Where do we shoot for? That's what our order block and levels are for. So we can see there's some pretty good distance here. Doesn't mean we'll cross that gap. It's a pretty huge gap, but it also gives you a good idea of where it could go. Gives you a good idea. Could you just look for your recent high? Yeah, it's a great place. So like I was saying just a minute ago, we get to this level here. We break this top level here with this current trade we've got. It's a good place to add. If it breaks through that level and starts creeping through this darkness here, and this red block disappears, that means we're just going to keep going. Where I'll go for sure could be here, could be 50% of that. So I see it all the time. But this blank chart, here's what's crazy, Bright Spark. I can do just as well, if not better, with this simple, basic, free chart. Just standard candle, free, easy to read chart. Isn't that crazy? Bright Spark, my experience, if you look at my channel, I don't know if you've ever watched some of my videos. If you look at my channel, mine was exactly the same experience. I got way too overconfident with it. especially on some of the good days. You can look through my channel, and I've had some excellent days. It gave me a very, very false sense of security. Then I started prop firm challenges. You can see I passed 4, I lost 3. Market conditions changed. They definitely changed. I agree with you 100%. I've seen so many traders talk about that. And this same thing happened to me. I started losing. What was so weird is to just start losing repeatedly when I was so used to winning. That was such a mental mess up for me, you know? I really had a hard time with that because I'm like, man, I'm doing all the same things and I'm getting a completely opposite result. In fact, I'm losing way more than I'm winning. I had it set where I could lose like 4 or 5 times in a row before I blew an account, and I thought, man, with this system, I'll never approach that. And sure enough, that happened several times. Lose, 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 lose. I mean, you'd sit there for 4 hours and you'd lose, 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 lose. Or it may take, you'd lose 2 in a day and you quit and thinking, okay, this is being smart. I'm going to cut my losses for the day. I'm going to go trade tomorrow. The next day, the same thing happens. You get a small win and 2 big losses. The next day, you get a decent win and 2 big losses. And next thing you know, your account's blown. And you're like, man, that freaking sucked. I did everything the same as I did. I would have passed this account by now normally. And you know what I mean? That's very frustrating. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I've been really focusing on getting away from it, getting my head out of that mess that I was in, deleting the signals completely. The signals really, everything you're saying, Bright Spark, everything you're saying, the signals did for me too. Mentally really messed me up. And it's taken me a little bit to get back into a normal. Like I said, I've been using EMA for trend definers for years, and I started ignoring that because the signal said to. Or you just get a signal that looked like it was on the right side of the trend, and 2 candles later it's down here. And it doesn't matter where you set your stop, you're screwed. Yeah, you get everything would look good. I mean, you'd follow the rules. You'd get like triple G's, triple R's, and it'd still be a loss. And you're like, well, how could 3 indicators tell you to do something and you do it, and then it's a loss? I don't understand that. And then you start feeling like, okay, now what do I do? Because I know what I used to do before worked really well. I know that this has worked really well in the past. Is it just the market? Is the system not good? What do I do? And that mental funk is hard to break out through, break over that. There's Travis. How's it going, Travis Glasgow? I'm here. You're here. It's good to see you. This chart here on my Tradevate, guys, I've had this chart set up for like 3 years. And the only reason I keep it like this and I don't add anything or change anything to it because it's of its simplicity. I actually, to be honest with you, this is kind of designed, if anybody's watched Trading with Travis, this is very similar to what he uses. Other than the RSI, he doesn't do anything with that. So I like to, there's been so many times, if you watch my other videos, I've actually caught myself doing it quite a bit. I'll be looking at SMM, I'll be playing with SMM, trading SMM, and then I'll go over here and I'll look at the blank chart and I see something a little different and I get hesitant. So then what starts happening is, which one's real? Which one do I follow? Right? Yeah, Travis, my work schedule has been crazy this year, especially since April. I don't work on Fridays mostly unless I have to. This week I certainly didn't have to, so it's been nice to just take a break and be here in my office at my home and be able to trade a little bit. So it's been a crazy, crazy year. The market's been super crazy, as you probably know. And so I'm not able to stream as much as I'd like. They have talked about at my work putting a swing shift together, and if they do, I'll stream every day. That would be a goal of mine. I also could use the daylight hours to get some other work done that I need to get done while it's good weather. So that would be beneficial for multiple reasons. So I love doing the streaming though. I love connecting with traders and talking with Bright Spark here. We're talking about our experience with SMM and some of the wins and some of the failures with it. So as you can see here, I've kind of just put together a basic chart. This is kind of a chart setup that I used years and years ago. Every video you've ever seen on my channel, or anybody who's watched my live streams, the 200 and the 21 have always been a part of my trading. And so we're just kind of getting back to the basics. Yeah, Bright Spark, you're absolutely right. It's actually a pretty good tool for trends. So if it gets you into a trend and you can ride that trend, it's awesome. The problem is not every day is a trend day, especially with Trump at the helm. And I don't mean that in a negative way towards Trump necessarily, just what he does and the way he manages and the way he runs his presidency and the things he says on Twitter and the attitude he has really is hard on the markets. Really extremely hard on the markets. But yeah, this basic chart here, this tells me everything I need to know. I do Travis Bright Spark. I actually do better. I've actually got this on my mobile. I've done one trade a day for like 2 weeks, and my results have been better. I've been able to pull money out every single day. Sometimes it's like $50. A lot of times I can only do one trade just because of my workload. So, but maybe that's part of the secret too, is slowing my roll a little bit, right? Not being at the monitor, able to hit and buy and sell 55 times. Maybe that's a secret to success. Okay, so with this right here, I was watching this and I was trying to talk and I should have been watching this. Now we're rejecting off the 200, if you guys can see that. So I'm going to exit this before it turns into another loss on us. And that could just be pulling back a little bit, but looking at this chart, technically we'd only want to sell when it's below the 200. And I was buying into the 200. Going to our gold chart, this is more of a rule-based trade right here, because we're gonna if we can hold this 21, we've had a really hard time holding the 21. If we can get above that 21, this trade's still valid. We can add to it. But yeah, see how this is flipping around on us, guys. This could just drop. This could have been a bear trap. Or a bull trap, I mean. This could flip around on us, and looking at our chart, it might. If it breaks below this 21 and we get some negative RSI, then that's definitely a sell. I got lucky. I could get a little bit out of this on both sides of that, but we should really stick to those rules. That's another thing too, is the whole SMM thing really got me so spun around with so many different strategies, and a lot of my time was wasted in testing. It really was. Trying to tweak it and make it work. That I spent so much time in that. You can listen to my videos, go back and see, and I'll talk about, well, I spent time with this, and I added this, and then I checked it on this time frame, and then I checked it on this time frame, and then I do it on this time frame, and I spent so much dinking around trying to make that thing work. Whereas if I was just on a basic chart like this, I wouldn't even needed to. This tells me this is reality right here. I don't need anything else. There's no hidden nothing. You know what I mean? At this point, then it's just managing your trades. So once we get profitable, once we get to a level that I'm comfortable with and I can add to, then we'll move our stops. That's how you trade. That's good. 9 EMA and 21 EMA and VWAP are best for me. Nice. That's decent. That's good. I used to use 9 EMA quite a bit. So a lot of time, back in the day, what we used to do is we'd enter on 21 and we'd exit on 9. And that worked really well. The only time that doesn't work is you kind of run into a little bit of trouble on that in choppy markets, just because the 9 and the 21 are so intertwined. And then you'd start having these situations where it's one saying one and one saying the other, or they're just so close it's not really, you can't really tell. So another thing I wish I could do, I wish there was an indicator that would shade from the 21 to the 200. So I wish this area, this little blob looking thing, I wish this was kind of shaded out, because if price ever gets in there, I don't want to trade that, right? Like my trade right now, my existing trade's above the 21, which is good. But trying to sell from the 21 to the 200, you can maybe get a quick scalp out of that, but it's kind of a no man's land. This is like the neutral zone. This is like a donation zone. Let's stay away from this zone. The only exception to that would be keeping in mind that I use the 200 for our main trend confirmation, so I would only look for buys above the 200. If I got an RSI signal, say price was right here, it was right above this green block, right above the 200, and I got a buy signal, I would take that. Even though it's below the 21, I'd still take the 200 because my 200 is my main trend confirmation. A better one would be above 200 and the 21. So like right here, we got an RSI signal. It's above the 200. It's above the 21. Boom, 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 boom. The same hour we've been sitting here staring at the chart and it's not moved, this would have moved to take profit pretty easily. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Like I said, I don't mean that negatively against Trump necessarily. It's just a statement of fact, you know. The way that he runs his presidency and the things that he says and the things that he's doing is really, really, honestly, it's good for investors because people who know how to take advantage of that are going to make some good money. So it can't be accidental. But yeah, the things that he does, he really moves the markets. Another thing that's kind of hard to contend with is Trump is very good with, he's very big on Twitter. And so he'll send a tweet out at 11:06 in the morning, where generally it's kind of a slower period in the morning, and sends the markets crazy. And most people aren't expecting it, so that's definitely good for the market at a weird time. So earlier I was in a buy on my other screen. I've been watching a channel that's talking about the first 15 minutes or 30 minutes of every day, and if you get two candles that are like this, it'll kind of point the direction for the market, and sure enough it did. First market was positive, the first candle was positive, the second candle was negative, and it pointed in the next 45 minutes. Look what it did. Sunk, sunk, sunk. But the thing is that negates, if anybody is a EMA trader and they use that for their trends, then that would be totally counter trend, but it worked. Kind of crazy. Yeah, that's the same with me. I don't have True Social either, so I have to find out from somebody who does or somebody I follow that says, oh, Trump just said we're going to bomb somebody, and everybody freaked out. And that's why there's this great big FU candle. So I noticed that volatility's drying up a little bit here. This little line down here, we're below 18 on ADX, so power is definitely slowing down. It was good earlier. But yeah, we're slowing, and that's not a surprise for gold. Still got a couple hours in the session, though. I would think we could still get some more movement. Let's try one. Let's do this. Okay, so we're entered off. Our RSI signal is almost there. I probably could have waited a little bit more on that, but candle closed. We are below the 21, or we're below the 200. We've got a support or resistance band right above us. RSI is selling. We were at 3, now it's at 10. And we just set a 20 tick, which is where the spike, the recent low is even lower than that. So let's take a look and see if that's going to work. This Chop X filter is kind of a newer addition. I've only played with it for a couple weeks now. Basically, if it's above that red dotted line, you're good to trade. If it's below it, probably hold off. Now, this is a little teeny bit below it. Maybe I should have followed my rules a little bit better. Gold's as low as I want it to go right now. In fact, I think we're just going to cancel that. We've been holding that thing all morning, and it's not going anywhere. I think I'm going to end the stream here pretty soon, too, because I'm just not getting the results I wanted. I really wanted to stream and have a good day, but I'm $600 down. And it's frustrating because there's days at work where I just kick butt and only do 1 or 2 trades, but today I've been on the wrong side of everything. I guess it's just how it goes sometimes. I'm so excited to make money that you lose money. Yeah, 45 minutes ago, gold was spiked up, and now it's spiked down. So I just got an alert for something, but I didn't see it pop up on my screen. Weird. Really weird. I can't remember how I had these candles. Real prices on scale instead of Heikin-Ashi price. Yes, I like that. I don't like the Heikin-Ashi price. Oh, that's kind of cool. I'm going to end the stream too, guys. I got things I got to do today, so it's good talking with y'all. Didn't have the best experience today, but that's how it goes. But yes, I'll put premieres out, so if I can do another stream here soon, I will, and as many as I can, and if I change my schedule, I'll do them every day. Thanks, and have a good day.